Welcome back to week 2 of the Earth Cup with your host, Rad Wizard Ralph. Let's get into the games. First, let's look at the matches of the week. We've got Coach Kath's Leg Crunchers versus Coach Chara's Magical Musicians. Despite a massive disadvantage, the Goblin team managed to come away with an inspiring draw last week against the reigning champions using some amazing individual play. Will they be able to create just as entertaining a match for us this week versus the Wood Elves? Or will Coach Chara put his first win of the round robin on the board? Tune in to find out, folks. Next up, we've got Coach Ditka's Slan Diego Dunkers versus Coach New's Jurassic Partygoers. It's out of the frying pan and into the fire for the Slan Diego Dunkers. They managed a very entertaining draw last week versus a lizard team, but now they're up against another one, and one that was third in the regular season last round robin, no less. Perhaps they'll be able to replicate their shenanigans and get another good result. But after a disappointing outing last week, the lizards will be out for blood this time around, and I wouldn't want to get in their way. Fortunately, I don't have to. Now, onto the regular games. First up, we have Coach Ray's Toho All-Stars versus Coach Honey's The Beastmen's. It'll be a tough matchup for both teams, but which will be able to outmuscle the other. The lizards have the mobility advantage with their skinks, but that's nothing that a few well-placed horned blitzes can't deal with, and on the other side, the favoured strategy of the Chaos, the cage, is very hard to break, especially with their star player, Chamon, carrying the ball and the hopes for the Chaos squad. The two coaches are very close outside of the game as well, so hopefully we'll have some friendly malice out there. Next is a crunch match. There's been whispers of the culinary curmudgeon's coach, Saffron, pulling the past semi-finalists out of the tournament in order to protect his players after the shock death of Gordon Ramsay last week. If the game does happen to go on, they'll face Coach Josh's Marienburg Fish Fighters, reigning champions. Angry after only a draw in their match last week, they'll be hungry for their first win, with no care for how many players they have to murder to get there. The Goblins will attest to that, I'm sure. Coach Apples' Sausage Suckers face up against Coach Blue's Drama Club Rejects next, and it'll be a good one. Both teams won their first match, and have a shot at taking an early lead in this round robin with a win. It's nearly the type of team the Halflings love, slow and not very agile, so easy to throw Halflings over. However, the Orcs can be surprisingly agile, especially with the way Coach Blue has been training them. Will they be able to put their combined strength and agility to use to brutalize the Halfling team and score some touchdowns? Tune in to find out, folks. After that, Coach Keese's the number 15s enter into their second ever real game for both team and coach against Coach Striker's DeBonks. Although, that might be disingenuous at this point, as we have no way to know how much strategy is dictated by said coach compared to his star player, the Goblin Tacknit. With how well they performed last week, I think it's safe to say the magic is wearing off on the rest of the team a little as they look to bag their second win, while Coach Keese looks for his first points. It'll be hard for him, not only because of the aforementioned powerful Goblin, but also because he still lacks skills. He'll be happy with a good SPP haul, I should think. Last but not least, we have Coach Zany's Karaz Akarak Brawlers match up against Coach Tony's Pacifism and Good Vibes, and it'll hopefully be a brutal one. Both teams are out for blood, and Coach Zany has already scored plenty of it in their first match this week, and the Undead team have statistically been the most likely to suffer a death in the tournament, so you blood lovers should get your butts in seats for this one. That being said, it's not all one-sided. The Undead have plenty of ways to both score touchdowns and knock around some heads on their team as well, with star players Ulrich and Carnival Splitter leading the way. I've been your host, Rad Wizard Ralph, and thank you for tuning in to this week's episode of Extreme Insights. I'll see you later this week with our second episode of the Radical Roundup.